406.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your buddy Chewie, and I'm coming at you now. I just wanted to give you a little context of what you're going to hear in this podcast. This podcast comes from a file that I ran across on my hard drive from back in September, and I had completely forgotten about it. So it was a conversation that I recorded after Pip and I got done with a podcast, like I said, in September. It was on the 28th of September where I recorded this. And so this was actually after episode 82 of the podcast, The Exorcist 50 Years Later and Other Stuff. And I have not listened to this in its entirety. So if I'm being honest with you, I don't quite know what's there. I did kind of zip through it a little bit, and Pip and I were talking about, we were kind of planning out what our October was going to be on the podcast. Spoiler alert, that it didn't happen the way we had laid it out here. We had talked about actually what I think would be some really cool ideas, and I'm hoping that we actually will get back to kind of what we've talked about on this podcast. We talked about that, and then we also talked about a lot of potential WWE ideas. So this is pre-Survivor Series. This is obviously pre-Royal Rumble. And I thought it was actually really kind of ironic, and the timing is actually really good because just this past Thursday, Pip and I recorded an entire episode where we talked primarily about WWE. We talked about all things Royal Rumble, kind of what we're expecting and what's going to come up into as we come up into WrestleMania season. And I thought it would kind of be really cool to put this out prior to that podcast, just to kind of see where things have changed and where they've stayed the same. So that's the context for this podcast. I hope you enjoy it. We'll talk to you soon, folks. Do you want to do a deep dive of like a franchise versus like individual films?
Ooh, that's actually a really good idea.
Like instead of doing 2 hours on a film, let's do 2 hours on Nightmare, 2 hours on Halloween, 2 hours on, whatever it is.
I love that idea. I think that's great. That's very all encompassing and kind of crazy, but I also love the idea of sort of encapsulating everything about that specific franchise that we really love and what it meant and sort of the zeitgeist that it was in and the impact that it had and all of that stuff. And it might, if anything, it'll make me rewatch Never Sleep Again just because.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's a great resource, right? It's great.
Well, everything's right there, material. Right? Everything's right there.
Yeah, for
all
sure.
Right, why don't we tentatively try to do that then? We'll just
okay.
Let's go like let's see. Today is the.
Oh, I forgot. I was going to call out Larry on that podcast. I was going to say, hey, should we call out Larry Smith being being our fan out there?
So maybe like on the 15th, is that right? 12th, the 12th of October, which would be 2 Thursdays from now.
I will be in Phoenix. I will not be here. So it would have to be either we could try to squeeze one in next week, although that might be tough. But the week after that, the 19th would probably be, it would definitely be better than the 12th.
Okay. Why don't we try to do then the 19th and the 26th then? If we're going to get two in,
okay.
In
we
October.
Could do 2 in 2 weeks. I mean, that wouldn't be too much.
Well, if we do, why don't we do the deep dive on Nightmare on the 19th?
Yeah, because that if we do watch Never Sleep Again, that fucking thing is like 4 hours long. Yeah. So it's going to take time.
And then 26th, we can just get together and talk about just like all things horror movies. That's fine.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome.
And then if you can send me Scream, I can post that.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
addition to this. So this will be, let me take a look here.
I
This
will
will
guarantee
be
you that this weekend. I will get you that this
okay.
weekend.
So this will be 82. Scream will be 83. Nightmare will be 84. We might, I mean, if I could even knock out a couple just like solo things, just like bullshit. We might get to 100.
Well,
it's
and
still
we
pretty,
could,
it's still iffy. No, we won't make it. That's still
we
20
we
episodes.
probably won't make 100, but we'll
Yeah.
we'll set ourselves up for. When was the first episode that we did this together? What was the first one that I joined on?
Let me take a peek. You joined on episode, we were talking about wrestling. We did Mount Rushmore of wrestling. It was episode, so I did Mount Rushmore of wrestling on episode 13, and then we did Mount Rushmore round 2 on episode 15. That was May 30th, 2020. That's the first episode you were on, was May 30th, 2020.
At the very least, we could get our 100 in before then, I would think.
Before May? Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Or we could even space it out if we wanted to have our 100th episode be on the 4-year anniversary of when we first
the two of us together. But, yeah.
I mean, we'll get something in there, but
okay. I still really like the idea of doing, like we were talking about at the Lizard the other night, like just sit down and start watching pay-per-views and just start banging them out. That's like a fun idea. And maybe fun. what we do is we do like one pay-per-view review and then a normal episode and then another, you know what I mean? Like just kind of back and forth.
Yeah, because if our podcast becomes that, like,
but then it's just a wrestling
super
podcast.
Interesting.
Yeah. Larry's gonna get bored.
Larry is gonna get bored. Nobody's gonna watch along with that. So,
but I mean, if we do what, as an example, 2 a month, one wrestling, one non-wrestling, just kind of keep back. I don't know, something to think about.
Yeah. Well, I actually think there'll be a lot of wrestling stuff to talk about in the next.
Well, you get the Rumble coming up. You got Survivor Series next month.
You got WrestleMania 40, right? That's
not this one, is it? That's the next one.
No, I think it's
it is this one. No, you're right.
Well, this one is the next one. Yeah, so this one in March, coming up next year. This
in
is
Philadelphia,
40
outside, which is fucking. How the fuck are they going to do that outside in Philadelphia in March? Come on. I hope it snows like a foot. I hope there's like a foot of snow.
That is
just to see how they deal with it.
I read an interesting article today on that. Not to keep you, but like they're like, what are they going to do? Because they can't do Rock versus Roman in this. I mean, they could, but like that's going to fuck Cody Rhodes if they do that. Because when is Cody going to get the belt? Like, we all know that we're building towards that, and we all know that when Rock and Roman fight, if they fight, like Rock's not going to win. He's not going to get the belt. They're not going to do that. That would be stupid. So how does Cody get the belt? Because it makes the most sense to take it off of Roman at WrestleMania. They're not going to wait a whole nother year to take the belt off of Roman. So what the hell are they going to do?
Well, I read an article that said that, and again, this is fan service and I don't buy this at all, but this article suggested that they had this laid out from the beginning, and which again is clearly bullshit because Rhodes wasn't even in the company at the beginning, but they were saying that they were laying this out for like a 3-year program, and they were going to have The Rock come and lose to Reigns this year and have Cody beat him next year after winning next year's Rumble to get to him. And the whole idea was, if they keep the belt on Roman that long, he'll surpass Hogan in terms of how long he's held the title.
I thought he already did. I thought he just did that.
This was, well, the only one that I've seen recently is Gunther surpassing Honky Tonk Man. I haven't seen them say that Reigns passed Hogan. Maybe I missed it.
In 2022, he became the longest reigning Universal Champion. His ongoing reign is 1,124 plus days, is recognized as the 5th longest World Championship reign. Okay, so maybe not the longest. Oh, that's not going to take me to what I want to see. Who is the longest Universal Champion? Well, so the Universal
Champion is not the one you want to look at because that's a new title.
Yeah.
It's a WWF or WWE championship that you need to know. I'm pretty sure.
No, they're Hogan. Different belts, so it's hard to say.
But didn't San Martino have it like for like 7 fucking years or something like that?
I don't know. Nobody remembers Bruno San Martino, so like that's irrelevant. But
Hogan's the one you got to beat, though.
How many days was Hogan champion?
Well, he had it at WrestleMania 1.
The longest reigning champion was Hulk Hogan, who held the title for 469 days.
Well, Reigns is beyond that. He's got to be.
He's well beyond that.
It's 1,000 days, right?
Well, but here, I don't know. This is, you know what? That was WCW. Hogan remained WWF World Champion for 4 years, 1,474 days.
That's the one. So that's what? That's got to be between.
Jesus, that means they got to keep him on for another year.
Right. But that's what? That's between WrestleMania.
I mean, that's 2 years. We're waiting 2 years before he drops that belt at this point, or a year and a half, because he's not going to drop it at It
would be at WrestleMania 41.
I don't know. I almost feel like they should have just let Cody have it in this last one.
Well, at this point, it doesn't fucking matter because Reigns never fucking wrestles. Ever. He hasn't wrestled since SummerSlam.
Right.
That's August. It's September.
I don't think people are going to put up with this for another year and a half. I just don't.
Well, but that's why they have Rollins. That's why they created that title and they put Rollins out there.
Yeah.
But I agree. It was.
But the crowd who loves to hate Roman right now, they're going to turn on that part of it too. And I think they're going to get sick of it. I don't know. I almost wish they could wedge The Rock into either Survivor Series or Royal Rumble just to have that done. But I think, and then some people are saying, well, they're going to do a 3-way match at WrestleMania with those three. But Cody has to beat Roman clean. There's no reason to keep the belt on Roman for over 1,000 days and then have it. They need it to be clean. It needs to be a 3 count. It needs to be perfect. Like whoever wins that, it needs to be the right way.
I have seen suggestions that maybe Roman wrestles both on Saturday and Sunday night. He wrestles The Rock on Saturday and beats him, and then wrestles Cody on Sunday and loses. I've seen that thrown around. That actually makes a lot of sense.
To that.
But it makes sense. It makes sense though. I would too, but I would be opposed to it unless Cody wrestles Saturday night as well.
I don't love it because it takes somebody else off the card, and I think that sucks. There's no reason that Roman needs 2 slots. I mean, he takes 2 main events. I don't know. That's shitty. I feel like that's not a smart way to do it. I mean, could they do it? Yeah, they certainly could. But you could also make the argument that, well, sure, Cody won the belt. He won it from somebody who wrestled The Rock the night before. Roman is tired. He can't keep up with it. I think it would be a terrible angle.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do it that way.
I still want to see John Cena get one more run to break Flair's run. I still want to see it.
You know what's killing me is Fastlane is next weekend here in Indianapolis.
Dude, you need to go.
I'm going to be in Florida. I'm not going to be here. I can't go. And John Cena is going to be there. He's going to fucking wrestle. He's going to.
Is Corey going? Is Corey going?
I know. Corey hasn't recovered yet. He's still working on his
hip,
his broken ass hip. Yeah, I'm going to see my dad next weekend, and I can't. It's killing me. Like, I wanted to take Olive. It would have been so fun. She would have loved it. I mean, to see John Cena, man, that would have been so cool. I've never seen John Cena, and it's fucking killing me. But whatever.
Okay,
it's all good. But
all right. Well, why don't
yeah.
we, podcast wise, let's plan on doing. Let's take a look. Let's plan on getting together. You said you're out on the 12th.
Yes, I'm out on the 12th. I could do the 19th. You've also got Scream that I'll get you, which you can put next month. So we'll definitely get 2 out next month.
So why don't we do this? Yeah. Let's chat on the 19th. If you
by
can
the time
get me,
this one drops, it's not going to get posted till October anyways. So
probably, yeah. That'll be next week. And then if you can get me this one and Scream at the same time, I'll post this one, probably next week, and then Scream the following week. And then that puts us on the recording schedule of the 19th. Yeah, that works.
Okay. And then we'll do our Elm Street retrospective that night.
On the 19th.
Yeah.
Like of the entire. Now, do we go do we cover Jackie Earl or no?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think so. I think that's a good contrast to, the rest of it. And
to Robert. Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I think because I actually think there's some really good stuff about that movie.
There is.
I think overall it doesn't work for me, and I've got a lot of thoughts on that. But I definitely think the dream sequences were stepped up considerably, and there were some really cool visual scenes.
They were better.
In that movie.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go get some sleep, and
likewise.
I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right. Love you, man. I'll talk to you,
man.
See you, man.